Do you feel the vibes?
What's up, YouTube? It's Carolina Calvin coming back to you with another video. In this video, I want to talk about Star Wars: The Last Jedi. Now, you can call it well, there will be spoilers, but you can call it like a discussion, a review, whatever. I just wanted to talk about the movie because people have been asking me, have I seen it and when I'm going to talk about it. Now, I didn't get to see the movie till yesterday, which it was late yesterday. It was late that night, and when I got home, I went to sleep. I didn't even talk about it on Twitter. So that's a big reason I'm doing the video now as opposed to yesterday. Now, coming to this movie, advertisements were great, got people hyped, got me hyped. Most of the people that really wanted to see the movie have already seen it over the weekend, pretty much. Of course, I saw it so damn late. And I'm going to talk about the good, the bad, and what we expect to see in episode 9 based on the events that happened in this movie. Now, I'll be upfront. Star Wars fans aren't going to like this. I didn't like this movie. And apparently I'm not the only one. Just looking at user scores, surprisingly the critics loved it. But just looking at user scores, a lot of people didn't. A lot of fans didn't like it. So maybe I kind of fit in there. But let's go into the story. Just to be real simple, I'm not going to go scene by scene, but pretty much at the beginning how everything gets set up. Force Awakens, at the end, you see Rey handing Luke the lightsaber, and it pretty much picks up from there. So it goes with that subplot and just the interactions between those two, and then her and Rey and Kylo Ren. Also goes a little bit into her story, which I'm going to get into that as well. And on the other side, the rebels, whatever you want to call them, there's a mission to destroy a First Order base. They do it. They take heavy casualties. They're already limited on resources. They don't have a base. They don't have very many ships, very many personnel. So they're pretty much in survival mode. And one thing I want to know is, like, what, between Return of the Jedi and Force Awakens, how did the First Order, Remnant, whatever, get so powerful that quickly? What were so-called Republic doing, or were they trying to form a new Republic? I want to see some stories based on that and see what happened. Now, obviously, in Force Awakens, some planets get destroyed, so maybe they intimidated them to join them, but it still doesn't explain how they got that powerful up to that point, and what happened after the Emperor and them were dead. The Emperor and Vader were dead. So I'd like to see some stories on that. I know Battlefront 2 kind of goes into it, but I want to see some books. You know, they've been coming out with books. I want to see some books between that time frame. Well, more books. I think they got a few. But that pretty much sets up what happens pretty much through most of the movie. Now, as I talk about the good and bad, it's going to get into more scenes. Start with the good. The good cinematography. It has some amazing shots in the movie. Great. Sound, CG, practical effects, all were good. They were great. You know, they were great in Force Awakens. We expected them to be good. Majority of the acting. I like majority of the acting. The Luke and Rey subplot was good. Although I have some things to say about Luke. The Poe, who to me is the best new character that was introduced to us in Force Awakens. He gets more screen time, and he's a great character. And of course, Leia. So anything to do with Poe and Leia, when we're talking about the Rebels, was good. Now, what I didn't like, Rose and Finn. Wow. If you're talking about boring, those scenes with them were so garbage. And the whole casino scene, what was that? Just to show how good your practical and CG effects were. Those scenes had no place. And then they tried to make a deep story, or little deep sub story She was trying to tell him a message. It all went over my head. It went over a lot of people's heads because it was so boring. I don't really like Finn as a character. This character Rose is so bland. She was garbage. And I almost fell asleep during those scenes. And you know how hard it is to fall asleep during a loud movie in a loud movie theater? It's pretty difficult. And it didn't add anything to the movie to me. You could have done without a lot of those scenes that was there. Just because it cut away from, say there was a scene with Poe, say there was a scene with Luke. It cut away from those scenes to show that, which really took the air out of the sails of, the scenes that it cut away from. And if you take the Rose and Finn stuff out of the movie, which I get what they were trying to do. They were trying to get onto Snoke's ship. You could have took out a lot of that stuff. The casino scene, you could have made that a lot shorter. You probably could have took out 20, 25 minutes of whatever they were doing. You see them looking at a race. Like I said, the casino. Boring. And it really hurt the movie, in my opinion. So that was the first one I get out of my head, just because I was thinking about this one the whole time. Next one, Phasma. The advertisements played her up as a badass. Force Awakens, she was advertised heavy. This one we expect to see a lot more of her. Nope, she gets the Boba Fett treatment. Boba Fett pushed as, this best bounty hunter in the galaxy. Gets killed by accident by Han Solo. And this character, she's barely in the movie, despite them really pushing her as this badass female trooper. Nope, her cool silver armor. Now she gets killed off. And, there's people speculating she's still alive. I'm not going off that garbage. She died. Until I see otherwise, until I hear from the horse's mouth, she's dead. Next one, which before I tell you the next one, that is just complete missed plot point. She was a badass. At least she was pushed as one, and you completely miss it by pretty much killing her off. Now she does come back to say her armor protected her or whatever, but it's just completely missed for the simple fact that she was barely in the movie anyway. Next thing I didn't like, Snoke. He's another guy that was pushed to be more, just as evil, just as powerful as the Emperor, if not more powerful. Yet he's killed off in this movie. So Kylo Ren can effectively take his position as like the Supreme Commander. Why? He was clearly, throwing Rey around. He was clearly more powerful than Kylo Ren. He was more powerful than both of them combined easily. Yet he can't sense Kylo Ren moving a lightsaber on a rusty. It was like the armrest. It was like on a metal armrest. He can't sense that. So he's pretty much killed off. Another completely botched plot from the first one. Another character who they pushed really hard. Another one killed off. And it kind of leads to my next one. Kylo Ren. I know a lot of people complained about Anakin Skywalker, how whiny he was. Now I'm not comparing the movies. The prequel trilogies just had, they had bad dialogue, which kind of helped into making Anakin that unlikable in those movies. But for the most part, people really just hated him because he was whiny. Kylo Ren's the same way. Now, and why didn't they? Honestly, I felt as though they should have kind of went with a time skip at some point. But it would have been hard to do based on what I told you about early in the movie, because it took directly after Force Awakens. But kind of going to him training, him being more focused, not being as emotional. Same with Rey. Then you will understand why she can do some of the things that she can do if she has some kind of training. But nope, we're just gonna keep going with the way the characters are. No kind of training whatsoever. They just can do it just because they can. Now I get it with Kylo because he's had training, but Rey wasn't really no training. But I'm just not very big on Kylo Ren just because he just comes off to me as whiny. Maybe that's just me. A lot of people like him, but I personally don't like him. Next, Rey. Now, Rey, the big question mark coming was from Force Awakens. A lot of speculation, fan this, fan that, and it's the same thing with Snoke, with fan speculation that he was someone else. He was Darth Plagueis. He was this person. He was that person. He's dead. And if he comes back, there'll be more speculation. I'm going off what I see in the movie. He's dead. Rey, a lot of speculation on her family tree. Who is she? She's a daughter of this person. That person is. She's the way they explained it in the movie. She's just normal Force sensitive. She's a special Force sensitive. She's more powerful. She's like one of those ones that's more powerful than the others. And that fits. Okay. There are a lot of Force sensitives who, Force sensitivity is completely random. And, anyone could be one. But a lot of the fan speculation, you can throw her right out the window. She's just, unless something changes in the next movie, she's just a Force sensitive that just happens to be really powerful. So, also, now you see why people really don't like her. Now, I like Daisy Ridley and her acting, but just the character Rey. Just because, how was she able to move those rocks with no training? How was she able to resist Kylo Ren, a trained Force user? How was she able to resist his mental attacks? Just because she doesn't have that much raw power. How she's able to move the rocks with that kind of precision? It's ridiculous. Whatever. Now, I guess that's nitpicking. A lot of people will say I'm just nitpicking. Okay, that's fine. But now you kind of see why people just kind of don't really like the character that much. Next one. This might be petty, but the little animals. It's almost like a toy commercial. They're trying to sell these things were pretty much there to sell toys. Now, people always trash the Ewoks, rightfully so. They are there to sell little koala-looking toys. Okay, I get that. Then that's annoying. At least that was at the last act of Return of the Jedi, and they actually did something. These little furry bird-looking things are annoying, and just there as an extended toy commercial. And I don't see enough people really trashing it, especially when they trash Return of the Jedi for having the Ewoks. So that's one of the complaints that I haven't seen really people talk about, but that's one of mine because they were in multiple scenes. And the last but not least, Luke Skywalker. Do not like this version of Luke. I thought Mark Hamill was good for what he was given. He did an amazing job. But this version of Luke, let's talk about this, the backstory with him and why Kylo Ren is who he is now. Luke contemplating killing Kylo Ren around the time he was trying to rebuild the Jedi Order. And one, that's bull. This is the same Luke who, despite all the things Vader did and how evil he was, he still saw good in him because he was family. And there was good there. So you're trying to tell me that he can't help out his nephew, whose nephew at that point was still on his side. But when he saw the ignited lightsaber, rightfully so, Kylo Ren thought he was going to try to kill him. They're trying to tell me that same Luke, who, despite Master Yoda, Obi-Wan, pretty much believing that Vader was gone, the person they once knew, Anakin Skywalker, was gone, Luke still believed in him, and Luke was right. It's the same Luke who contemplating, even for a second, killing his nephew. I just don't buy that. Also, Yoda is in the movie, shows up as a Force ghost. You trying to tell me that Yoda is teaching this Luke the same lessons 20 plus years ago that he taught him? You trying to tell me 20 plus years Luke didn't learn that? It just seems like in this movie he didn't learn anything from all those years, and then of course the time gaps in between Return of the Jedi and Force Awakens. This come off the Return of the Jedi Luke that seemed calm, composed, and then you have this one, who I got to the point where he was rebuilding the Jedi Order, and apparently all that he learned, he just threw that out the window. That's based on what this movie is telling me. So I just don't buy this version of Luke in this movie. And honestly, I like the expanded, I'm probably going to get shit for it. I like the expanded universe version of Luke, who seemed more of an extension of what happened in Return of the Jedi. He rebuilt the Order. He was calm. He, a lot of similarities to Obi-Wan in terms of composure and everything. And you bring this Luke in there, who's pretty much a hermit, who's pretty much bitter. He's a coward. Like I said, Mark Hamill did great, but the Luke Skywalker in this movie was garbage. But I still like Mark Hamill's portrayal of Luke, and it just shows how good of an actor he really is. Because even he didn't like this version of Luke coming into this movie. I believe he said that in an interview. He didn't like this version of Luke, and I agree with him. And of course, as you well know, Luke does die in the movie. Of course, I predicted that he would die, and you don't even get the epic saber battle. Only one saber battle throughout the whole movie. That was against Rey and Kylo Ren against Snoke's guards. You don't even get a battle between Kylo Ren and Luke at the end, because Luke shows up as pretty much a projection of the Force. He projects himself across the galaxy, and is there to buy the rebels time to escape, which they do. After that, he dies from exhaustion. Of course, in Episode 9, he's probably going to show up to Rey as a Force ghost. You know that was happening. So I just didn't like the way they did Luke in this movie. I really didn't like it. Some people that do, I'll be one of those ones that didn't like it. And heading into this next movie, unfortunately, we know Carrie Fisher is no longer alive, and she was supposed to be an important part of them trying to rebuild the rebels up. She, of course, she can't be in the movie unless they plan on doing something like what they did with Rogue One. But I just don't see that happening. So I wonder what's going to happen with that, because unfortunately, it's just something out of their control. But it's definitely all the main cast. They pretty much has passed the torch. Luke passed the torch. Han Solo passed the torch. Leia, of course, unfortunately, what happened with Carrie Fisher, she's forced to pass that torch. That character is. So I believe J.J. Abrams is going to take the helm back, but I don't know what they expect from this next movie after so many points messed up. So, maybe you can fix it. I don't know, but I have my doubts, and that's a shame, because I came to this movie really hyped. And I know a lot of people enjoyed it. I just feel as though there's more bad than good to me. But I'm pretty much done with that. This video. Let me know what you think down in the comment section. What you think about this movie. What you think about some of the points I've made. If you like this video, hit that thumbs up button and subscribe. Thanks for watching. Oh, and P.S. My rating for this movie will be about a 6. Maybe that'll change the next time I watch it, but at this point, I'm at a 6.